आपको कब एहसास हुआ कि आप एक राइटर हैं?
When I was a teacher in kindergarten school, Mother's Pet, I had written poems for all the 40 children in school to describe them, in the report cards. That was the time I realized ki, yes, there is some streak of, a poet in me.
What was your mind space like when your first book got published?
There was a sense of satisfaction, immense satisfaction. I got a forward from Miss Sushmita Sen.
And how did you approach Sushmita?
So I just went on the internet. I searched for Sushmita Sen's number on the website. I got a number, I called it, and somebody actually picked up the phone and said it's Miss Sushmita Sen's office calling.
फेमिनिज्म की डेफिनेशन क्या है आपके लिए?
There's a dialogue in the book, Panchali, the Princess of Peace, that if it is tough being a human, it is tougher being a woman, and toughest being a woman proud and just enough to love herself. And what made me to write more about Draupadi is that I was in my friend's house one day when V.R. Chopra's Mahabharata was being aired, and I overheard a brother speaking to one friend of his on the phone, of course, that कल का महाभारत मिस मत करना, कल द्रौपदी का चीर हरण है, बहुत मजा आएगा.
Do you believe in manifestation?
A lot. This interview is because of the manifestation, power of manifestation. What happened with Sushmita Sen is a power of manifestation, of course.
Okay, Saniya, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. और मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये होगा कि आपको कब एहसास हुआ कि आप एक राइटर हैं?
I think when I was a teacher in kindergarten school, Mother's Pet, I had written poems for all the 40 children in school to describe them, in the report cards. That was the time I realized ki, yes, there is some streak of, a poet in me. And before that, I used to write a lot of articles for newspapers also. Some of them got published, some others, but people did appreciate it. So that is the time I realized, maybe I can write well.
Right, and I think मेरे ख्याल से आपके फादर ने आपको काफी encourage किया.
My father has encouraged me a lot. Like since childhood, it was one of the best hostels, Bishop Westcott Girls High School in Ranchi, Nampur. And he made it a point that every day you have to learn one new word and you have to come and tell me that word, and you have to take one paragraph from the statesman because the English of statesman paper is very high, and you have to simplify that paragraph for me in your own language. You have to understand and simplify that paragraph. So he actually inculcated in all of us, like my brothers and sisters, my siblings, that you need to have a very good command over the English language because that's the need of the hour. That's the need of the hour.
And tell me, what was your mind space like when your first book got published?
I was very happy, of course. There was a sense of satisfaction, immense satisfaction, because I had thought of a celebrity forward for the book. It gives some validation to your poems. So I got one within 1 month. I got a forward from Miss Sushmita Sen, and I think all the poems in the book, Cornucopium as it is called, they were related to social issues like Nirbhaya, the Peshawar killings, and 2611. So that resonated more, with the people. Most of them were social issues. The poems written were on social issues.
Okay, and how did you approach Sushmita?
That's also, I think I was very lucky that year, that moment of time, and she was very altruistic. It was a Sunday afternoon, and my publisher had told me that I just give you 1 month for the celebrity forward. So I just went on the internet. I searched for Sushmita Sen's number on the website. I know it was a very foolish thing to do, but it clicked somehow. I got a number. I called it. I called that number, and somebody actually picked up the phone and said it's Miss Sushmita Sen's office calling. I mean, I was just like taken aback. Like, what is this happening? And it was a Sunday, so she told me, her personal assistant Aarti Dalvi, that you send us a mail, and ma'am will reply accordingly.
And she did reply.
Yeah, I mean, what I've been told by Aarti Dalvi is that it was again another Sunday morning, and they were, they had all surrounded the laptop, and one by one they read the poems, and she liked it so much. She said, give her the forward." Yeah, that's it.
All right, and what was your publisher's reaction when you actually told the publisher that you got a forward from Sushmita Sen?
He did not believe in me. I don't think he believed in me that I've actually got the forward. He told me, Ki, should I go and meet her? I want to go and meet her with the book and everything. I said, Nay, you see the address. I mean, it's her signature, it's her photograph. It was very hard for him to believe. But I think she is the most genuine people. I've not met her. I've just been in her office for the forward. But that was a very generous thing for her to do. There was no need for her to give me that forward, but she did.
कितना इंकरेजिंग था आपके लिए ये फॉरवर्ड मिलना?
It was very encouraging because I've been a housewife throughout my life and I was also sick down, like my hemoglobin was 7 somewhere at that time. So I couldn't get up from the bed very often. But I thought maybe I'll utilize this time in writing a book because I had a collection of poems. And somehow getting a forward from her I mean, it was a validation, yes, that poems are actually good. I knew inside that the poems were very good. Like my
हम्म,
brother, whom I hold in high esteem, he had told me he had approved of all the poems. But somehow, when you get a celebrity forward, and especially from a person who is a poet herself, poetess herself, that really encourages you to go a long way.
Okay, so how was the journey for your second book after that?
My second book is not something I'm very proud of. It's actually just a fun-filled banter amongst friends. It's like something about Archie's and the friends. It's about a group of 5 college students. It's a murder mystery actually, with a lot of
हम्म,
Bollywood attached to it. That's it. It's just a very funny erudite book with a lot of knowledge, a lot of suspense. That's all.
what about the next one after that?
The Princess of Peace is something which is very close to my heart because the character Draupadi, as we call Panchali, she is known, Draupadi. Most people know her as Draupadi. But I call her Panchali because in the book Panchali, the Princess of Peace, she is less a daughter of Drupad and more a princess of Panchal and more a princess of peace. And the difference between the character Panchali as of the other books that have been written in English or maybe the other languages, regional languages, is that Panchali denies to being a five wife, a common wife to the 5 brothers. She accepts to be a wife of only Arjuna. And she is a contemporary of the war of Mahabharat, but she is not the reason behind the war of Mahabharat. So, and there is no disrobing in the book. The disrobing does not take place. So it's a very isolated but type of dignity that she lives in the book. And most of the readers, most of the female readers, I must say, they have liked the conversations between Krishna and Krishna, that is Panchali, as he calls her fondly. And Krishna in the book is a true blue feminist. It's a pun actually, true blue feminist, um, who every woman seeks out. So the book has
हम्म,
been received very well by the female readers. I mean, I've most of the remark reviews that I've read, it's from the female readers, and they've told me that only a woman could give Draupadi the dignity that belonged to her.
फेमिनिज्म की डेफिनेशन क्या है आपके लिए?
Feminism is something that a woman should be allowed. Like there's a dialogue in the book Panchali, the Princess of Peace, that if it is tough being a human, it is tougher being a woman, and toughest being a woman proud and just enough to love herself. So, most of the times when a woman is trying to prove or trying to achieve something, people seem to thwart her down, like, theek hai, you are a housewife, you're a homemaker, you should concentrate more on that. So, for me, it's just pursuing your dreams. It's not only about women, it's about everybody. You should pursue your dreams. You shouldn't give up on your dreams.
ओके, आपके लिए आपके लिए राइटिंग कितना सेटिस्फाइंग एक्सपीरियंस होता है?
It is the most satisfying thing for me. It's actually a catharsis for me, writing. Because after the Nirbhaya incident, there was a lot of pain and anger, I think, inside everybody of us. But for me as a poet, I needed to write it down, I need to take it out. And so I wrote a poem about Nirbhaya. And that was a catharsis. Writing is like, it's very satisfying for me. I have to write something or the other.
So who are the writers that you look up to?
My favorite book is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens because I think the beginning, the introduction, and the end of the book is, I don't think any other book has been able to achieve that. Like it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So that is my favorite book. Then Gone with the Wind is another favorite. And The Roots, which describes the Africans' entry into America. It's a very painful book. I mean, you need to have a lot of strength to read that book. And yes, that's it.
विजडम क्या है आपके लिए?
Wisdom for me is accepting the moment as it is, but not letting go, of your dreams. You have to accept the moment as it is, with the pain, with the grief, with the problems. But your growth should not be, stopped by it. It should not be an impediment to your growth. You should keep on moving.
आपका ख्वाब क्या है?
My dream is to impress the Almighty and to inspire the mortals.
Do you believe in manifestation?
A lot. This interview is because of the manifestation, power of manifestation. What happened with Sushmita Sen is a power of manifestation, of course. Manifestation and prayers, that is. I believe in both.
तो आप क्या चाहती हैं अपने लिए मैनिफेस्ट करना?
I think my books should be bestsellers. That is all. Liked by most, because most of them are on social issues. So I think it should go across to the maximum number of people. It should be read by maximum number of people. That is all.
ओके, कोई ऐसी फिल्म जो किसी किताब के ऊपर बेस्ड हो और आपको पसंद हो?
Yes, Gone with the Wind was a movie which was very well made. It was made beautifully, and I also like the movie A Few Good Men. It was based on a novel, and I love that movie, A Few Good Men. Yes.
ओके, आपका प्रोसेस क्या है राइटिंग का? कैसे आपको आइडियाज कैसे आते हैं?
It just comes, like, because for Panchali, it was like I used to go to my father's office in Bartala, Kolkata, and there was a painting on a wall, which it was very big and it dwarfed all the other walls of the office. And it had the lady in that painting had the saddest expression on her face. And the most important part of apparel was lying down on the ground. And there were only men in the painting with various faces, like some are very happy, some are very sad. So I was actually taken in by the woman in the painting. And then so it started, like coming to my mind, okay, who is this lady? But I didn't have the audacity or the guts to ask anybody else, ki, who is this woman? But later on, like reading Amar Chitra Katha and watching B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat, uh, I realized, okay, this lady is Draupadi. And what made me to write more about Draupadi is that I was in my friend's house one day when B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat was being aired, and I overheard a brother speaking to one friend of his on the phone, of course, that कल का महाभारत मिस मत करना, कल द्रौपदी का चीरहरण है, बहुत मजा आएगा. So that was a trigger point. Like, how can someone's disturbing be, fun for you? That was a very voyeuristic statement. It's so easy for men to, just make such statement कि बहुत मजा आएगा, disturbing होगा. So I think there has been growth in civilization, but not in the mind of men. I don't think so. That needs to be improved. So such things, such incidents, such accidents, what when I listen to such things or when I witness such things, you are impelled to write. Like, you have to change the mindset of the people. So that was a very big trigger for me, hearing that from a teenage boys, educated teenage boys, that showed a glimpse of his mind. Yeah.
ओके, पेन कितना बड़ा मोटिवेशन होता है क्रिएटिविटी के लिए?
Pain is a very big factor, I think, because once you experience pain, once you see pain, I think the depth in your writing is there. It gives the depth in your writing.
मुश्किल वक्तों से जूझना कैसे होता है आपका?
I think it's prayers, believe in the Almighty, and the fact that if I've done good, I'll get good. And all these are just paths, like this happens to everybody. Struggle is a part of everybody's life. I mean, you have to just take it. You have to take the brickbats with the bouquet that life offers you and move on.
कोई कोई आपके सपोर्ट सिस्टम में, कोई फ्रेंड्स में आपके कोई ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको अपनी किताबें आप दिखाती हो, जिनको आप पढ़ाती हो, who are your first readers?
My father was my better reader for my book Panchali, the Princess of Peace. He was very keen to read that book because the subject is very close to his heart, like Mahabharata, of course. And he was my better reader, and he's always encouraged me to, to read, to write. So yeah, I look upon him.
Okay, what about your mother?
My mother is like, she's not very fluent in English, so she goes on telling me that you should write something in your मातृभाषा in Hindi, ताकि मैं पढ़ सकूं उस चीज को. She's always holding me कि तुम हिंदी में भी कुछ लिखो, like तुम्हारी मातृभाषा में भी कुछ लिखो कि तुम्हारी मदर समझ सके. So I requested her कि why don't you translate Panchali into Hindi then?
So आपको बंगाली फिल्म्स ज्यादा पसंद है कि हिंदी फिल्म्स?
I don't know Bengali. I don't know Bengali.
You grew up in Bengal.
मुझे I actually, half of my childhood was in Kolkata, but I shifted to a hostel in Ranchi. Then I came to Nagpur, so I've lived most of my life in Maharashtra only. Yes, in Nagpur. But I know neither Marathi nor Bengali.
You're fluent in Hindi. Any Hindi poets that you like?
Yes, Agnipat by Harivansh Rai Bachchan and Saathi Dukh Se Ghabrata Hai. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the poet, but that was a poem I really liked a lot. And of course, I have to mention over here that the song from Umrao Jan, Ye Kya Jagah Hai Dosto, which has been written by your father, that is one of my favorites. That is, I mean, that line, मेरे लिए भी क्या कोई उदास बेकरार है. That depicts how much pain, is there in that song. Yeah, that is one of my favorite songs.
कौन से एक्टर्स या एक्ट्रेसेस आपको इंस्पायर करते हैं?
Actors and actresses नहीं inspire करते हैं. Like for me, heroes are from real life. Like Sandeep Krishnan. I've written a poem about Sandeep Krishnan. It's called Moxie. So he is my hero. Like when you face death, when you have the audacity to face death for someone else's sake, you are being a hero at that time.
Can you recite a few lines from the poem?
Can I choose a poem from my book?
Yeah, sure,
I
absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So this poem was written after the Nirbhaya incident, and it's called The Moving Bus. Moving in the sense that the accident which happened with Nirbhaya happened in a moving bus, and also something which moves your heart is also called moving. So it's a pun. So it goes like this: Met the lion and the lamb, one meek, the other all strength. Seconds passed as they observed in silence similarities, discrepancies, unknown behavioral trends. Will you then destroy my little left confidence, mighty as you are in body and temperament? Queried the trembling lamb. I killed for hunger, not pleasure or self appeasement. We can part ways with dignity, satiated as I am for now, my friend, replied the lion. Watched they then suddenly the scene in the moving bus. Do humans eat each other in hunger? Is she their food? Asked the lamb, ignoramus. Spit the lion and replied, Although we are the masters of the jungle, the untamable and the wild, there is no creature born as dangerous as their kind. The only animal that does not kill for its appetite, unreasonably brutal, uncontrollably cruel, they kill the very womb from which they gained life. So this was my poem on Nirbhaya.
No, I think it's beautiful, absolutely. So,
Thank you.
so Sania, congratulations for your journey so far. What's your next book like?
Thank you. The next book is about world peace, seen from the eyes of a dead child. And I'm looking for a publisher. So right now, the book is over.
What is it's like a novel? Exactly क्या है?
It's a novel, of course. It talks about world peace. Uh, and surprisingly, the book, the no character in this book has a name. You have to guess the character's name in the book. There are no names in the book, and it only talks about world peace, which is much needed because I write generally about social issues.
All right, Sania, thank you very much for your time. Wonderful knowing your thoughts. Your poem is outstanding, and I'm sure that you have a very very
So
bright
much.
future ahead. And
Thank
I hope that you find a publisher soon for your next book as well. Thank you very much.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Faridoon. Thank you.